Hello children, in last class we had studied about or we had recalled about the 5th standard social studies, isn't it? So from today we'll start with our this academic year, that is 6th standard social studies. So again in social science we'll start with the history. Yes, first chapter, that is study of history. The first chapter is nothing but the introduction part of history. So why we have to study history and what is the purpose to know about our past and all these things we are going to study in this chapter. As we all know, yes, so the comforts what we are living today. So there will be many questions in our mind saying how these things came into existence, how these things, whatever we are leading with, how they came up. Yes, so this is what we will study. So history is the study of the past. So before starting, so this is your social science textbook for 6th standard. Hope by now you all have got your textbooks, right? If you have your textbook, open the first chapter, that is page number 1. Yes, study of history. Study of history. So if you don't have, no problem, concentrate and listen to the session. What is history now? History is the study of the past. What is history? Study of the past. History is the study of the past. The word history comes from the Greek word historia. Historia, which means information acquired by inquiry. So the past, whatever we are going to study about our past, these are not the fairy tales. They are not just the stories. These are the real stories of mankind and their adventures on earth. Okay. And it will be very interesting. It is very interesting. So the past has shaped the present and will shape the future also. So the festivals or the customs or the cultures or whatever the practices, what we are doing or what we are following, yes, these have come from the past only, right? So this was about what is history. And now why we have to study history, what is the purpose of it? So a famous British historian, named Edward Hallett Carr, he has quoted history as, history is a never-ending dialogue. That is, it is a never-ending, unending dialogue between the past and the present. So he has told that history is a never-ending. So the past shapes the present and the future. Isn't so? All agree, right? And we cannot understand many things. Yes, how the way and the ways of today's life, what we are living, unless we study about our past. Only then we'll come to know like how these came into existence, how we are leading this life. Only if we go back to our past. So one example is when we are reading this book. Yes, when we are reading the book you are reading consists of pages. Yes, when you write also, you write on the page, isn't it? How these pages came? Who was the first to make the paper? So these many questions, not only regarding the paper, many questions are there in your mind. So for that, you have to go back to your past. Only if you know the past, you will understand the present day. Fine. So the paper around 3500 BC, the Egyptians developed a writing material using papyrus. Fine. The Egyptians were the first to start the art of paper making sometime around 3500 BCE. They started the art of paper making. So Egyptians Around 3500 BC, they started they started making the art of paper making. Paper making. So it is an aquatic plant. So papyrus, what is papyrus now? So it is a material similar to the thick paper. Yes, that was used in ancient times as a writing surface. So the papyrus is an aquatic plant. So using those papyrus reeds, they used to they used to make the paper. Yes, like in olden days, you might have watched in the TV. So that brown color, so tale patra, they'll tell, no, that paper, it is very hard, and they used to write in that. Yes, they used to engrave in that. So those are made up of papyrus reeds that is extracted from the papyrus tree. So the paper, it is there in your textbook. You can underline this word. So it is a material similar to thick paper. Thick paper used for where the Egyptian used to write. Used in ancient time as a writing surface. It was brown in color, light brown. Okay, now the modern, that is the word paper, what we tell now. The word paper is derived from papyrus itself, but modern paper, what we are using, the white paper, yes, this was first made by the Chinese nearly 2000 years ago. So first, it was the Egyptians who started the art of paper making, but later on the modern paper what we are using was made by the Chinese around 2000 years ago. Yes, and the person who study history is called as historian. So a person who study about history, what they are called as historians. So they are called as historians. Now, what exactly history teaches us? So it helps us to understand the people and society. So we all know that in India, so different languages are spoken and different cultures and religious practices that practices are going on, isn't it? So India is called as unity in diversity. Is it? Diversity means what? Variety. So in India, it's called as unity in diversity because it refers to the state of togetherness. So in India, people with different languages, different cultures and religious practices. Yes, we have different states where they have different food, dressing style. So all, even though in spite of all these many differences, all are living together. So that is why India is called as unity in diversity. Okay, so history helps us to understand about the people and the societies. Yes, societies living in India, living in the world. So and also it also provides a wealth of information. So how the society behaves. So each individuals are different, isn't it? You all agree, right? How they behave. So how the different culture people behave. So these kind of things we will understand. We'll get to know each other. Yes, of course. So history also helps us understand change and how it came about, how these different cultures came into existence, why we are following different cultures. Like Tamil Nadu, they follow different. So we, Karnataka people, food style, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, yes, each and every state, they follow different customs, food and dressing styles, isn't it? So even though all are living together. So suppose, so anything we try to know why something happened. So why this happened, why that happened. So many children will be asking many questions, saying how this came, why that happened, why, where are those. We have studied about the rulers, the battles they fought, and also about the independence, how India got independent. Yes. That is like those things and all. So many questions we will be asking our elders. So that is why it will be, history is very interesting topic to know about our that is ancestors. So how they live, what they ate, yes, how they survived, isn't so? So when we know about them only, we will understand the present day. Yes, and there are many famous quotes from history also, like those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So it is very much important to know about our past, because knowing the past helps us to not to repeat the mistakes, same mistakes. Yes, suppose we'll take our this thing only. Yesterday we might have done some mistakes. Yes, some mistake like not writing homework or like that. So the next day, if you don't realize the same mistakes you will be doing. So once if you go to the past and if you know, so okay, fine, I'll do the homework for today. So you'll not repeat the mistake. Yes, isn't it? So the same way. So the history teaches us all about the heroes and the cowards, the saints and the wicked, the free and the slaves. And they develop a sense of judgment in us, like whom to follow and whom not to follow. And many of us in our life will have idols, right? So we want to become like him, or like Abdul Kalam, like Indira Gandhi. So many great men and women are there. Yes, were there. So we want to become, they are our idols. Yes. So why we want to become like them? Only when we know about the great works done by them or the way they had led their life, only then we will tell that we want to become like them. Isn't it? So it teaches, so history teaches us the traditions and idols that make our ways of life. So where we will follow them, and we will also we will have some certain goals in our life. To achieve that, we have to follow like them, isn't so? So history also teaches us moral understanding. So each and every individual is different with unique ideas. Yes. So when we interact with each other, only then we can lead a very happy life. And also, not only about the, so history is not only about the battles or the rulers or the battles fought by them. So it is about the great men and women of the past who successfully worked through many ideas. Yes? And also, to study history, we must understand the measurement of time. The measurement of time means what? So the past is measured in years. So the past is measured in years, isn't it? In terms of what? BC and AD. So BC and AD. So now we'll come up with BC and AD only. You all understood now? So we didn't know how this paper came, isn't it? With what material it was made. Yes? So to measure the past in years, they have taken the birth of Christ as reference point. So birth of Christ. So they have taken the birth of Christ as the reference point to measure the past. Okay, so the years. So like the year, that is the years before Christ was born is written as BC. The year before. So BC means what? Before. Before Christ, that is the year before Christ was born is written as BC, BC or BCE. BC means before Christ, here before common era or before Christ era. Okay, and now what is the meaning of AD? So AD means Anno Domini, that is meaning in the year of Lord. In the year of Lord, that is after the birth of Christ. After the birth of Christ. So you have got a birth of Jesus, that is a timeline diagram. Yes. See here, the timeline is read as like this. So the BC is read backwards. 1 BC, 2 BC, 3 BC, 4 BC. That is before the Christ birth. So it is read as, like suppose 3000, as I told you, Egyptians around 3500 BC. Yes, this art of paper making was started, isn't it? That is before. So 3500 BC means what? 3500 years before the Christ birth. Yes, 3500 years before the Christ birth, the art of paper making was started by the Egyptians. Okay, it is read as like that. So now we will, when we got Independence Day, we got Independence Day in the year 1947 AD. Right. AD means what? It is referred as after the birth of Christ, isn't it? So after the birth of Christ only we got, that is 1947 years after the birth of Christ, we got Independence Day. 1947 years after the birth of Christ. It is read as like that. And also this AD is written as, AD can be written as CE, that is common era. Common era in the sense now. Yes, common era means in the year of Lord. CE or AD. So BC means before Christ, before the birth of Christ or before common era. So you can write BC or BCE, AD and CE. Fine. And one more C, small letter C in now 1250 BC. So this C stands for circa, that is meaning approximately. So approximately, when we don't know the events exactly when it happened, so that means we can say C. So C dot 1250 BC we can say. So when we don't know the event, exact date of the or year of the events, right? So circa is a Latin which means approximately. And again here, so for your understanding, you can note it down in your rough book. In 5th standard, we were studying about history, right? About the rulers and the battles fought by them. Yes. And here we'll study about the prehistory also. So what is the difference? Let us know the difference between history and prehistory now. History means what? Written records. So what we have now. So written, study of events that happened before humans learned to write. So study of events that happened after humans learned to write. Not before, after humans learn to write. Now, what is prehistory? So, prehistory is there is no written records at all. So, the history of man started when man learned how to write. Fine. So, prehistory means what? So prehistory means the time before man began writing is called as prehistory. Yes, prehistoric era. This is the difference between history and history. So prehistory means where the humans had not learned writing. So history means where we have the written records. Yes, about the freedom fighters, about the rulers. So when the humans began to learn writing, so those things are all recorded as a like written in we have the written documents. So that is called history, and the things that have happened or that has occurred before man learned to write is called as prehistory. So this is the difference about prehistory and history. Now sources of history. So again there are two types of sources. Sources of history, again there are two types, that is archaeological and literary. Archaeological and literary sources. So now under these, again in archaeological sources, what all this means? Archaeological means what? The things, or it is all about the remains of buildings, monuments, caves and artifacts. Yes, artifacts like jewelry, pottery, like these things, the remains. So what all it contains? It contains coins, so paintings, inscriptions, monuments, fossils, and burial. So literary sources again secular and religious. So there are two sources of history, that is archaeological sources and the literary sources. So literary sources means, literature means all writing works. So archaeological sources means, so the coins which includes, that is the remains of, where there is no written records. Yes, coins, paintings or inscriptions, monuments and fossils. See, monuments in the sense, like Taj Mahal. So when you know about the monuments, they tell the story of, it may be the king or the queen. Yes, and also the paintings, the Ajanta Ellora caves. In Ajanta caves, there are paintings of Buddha's life, about childhood lives, and also that narrates the story. So again, coins. So at that time, they used to use pieces of metals as coins, like in the form of gold, silver, and copper. So on that coins, they used to inscribe the king names or the king face or the queen or their dressing style or the kingdom name. So like that, the events, dates, and all. Yes, inscription means inscriptions. They used to engrave on stone tools like pillars, rocks, like that. So those are the things where the archaeologist will excavate the things, and that is how we have found that there was a civilization called Indus Valley Civilization at one. So over a long period of time. Okay, now today, so we'll study about the archaeological sources and the literary sources. Let us know about this. So again, the archaeological sources, as I told you, it is all about the remains, right? So archaeology means what? It is the study of the remains of human life in the past. So there are no written records. Yes, it is the study of the remains of human life in the past. Who will study those things, the remains of human life in the past, is called as archaeologist. Archaeologists are the people who study about the remains of the human life in the past. So what they do exactly, they collect, yes, they collect the work of archaeologists are the people who excavate to find evidence of the past. The work of archaeologists is especially important in gathering information about prehistory because there is no written records available. So you might have watched in Discovery History Channel and also there what they do, the archaeological department people, they go there so that they excavate. So if they feel in that site, so the early man might have lived. Yes, they go to that spot, they excavate in the sense they dig the place. So where they excavate carefully, and if they find any remains of the humans, like it may be jewelry, the pots or the utensils or the artifacts, anything, coins. So if they get anything, they will do research on it. So like that, the archaeologists, what they do, they gather information about prehistory because there is no written records available. So they go to a place where they suspect and they will do research by digging very carefully, isn't it? Sometimes what happens, fossils are also found there in those kind of places. What do you mean by fossils now? So fossils are the remains of plant and animal life that died centuries ago. Okay, fossils means the remains of plant and animal life. Like the dead animal leaves an imprint on the rock. The dead animals leaves the imprint on the rock. This imprint, whatever they when they excavate, they get so there might be some imprint of plant life or the dead animal. So that is how they came to know that they lived. So over a time there lived like animal like dinosaurs. Yes, we all know dinosaurs, right? So how we came to know that animal like dinosaurs lived very long back? So the archaeologists, they have excavated the imprints of the animal life under the ground. So that is how they work. So, and also the geologists who study about the earth is called geologists, isn't it? So they have found the fossils of sea animals in the Himalayas. So they have found the fossils of sea animals in the Himalayas. So which proves at one time the Himalayas was under the water. Fine. So archaeologists have also found fossils and bones of prehistoric animals, as I said dinosaurs. So like that, the same way the archaeologists have excavated the ruins of Indus Valley civilization in India. So before we get independence, before the British came to India, yes. So there was a civilization called Indus Valley civilization. So there are many civilizations. So 5 types. So Indus Valley civilization, where the people used to live near the banks of the river Indus. Yes? Indus. So now at present the water we are surviving, so we get water through taps, borewells and all. At that time there was no taps, borewells. Wherever the river used to flow, wherever the water used to flow, people were living near the river banks, yes, for their survival purpose. So at that time, people were living near the Indus Valley, Indus River, so that area or around, like not like now, how people are there, no population, so not that many people were not there. So that civilization is called as Indus Valley civilization, and there that time also the cities were well planned with houses, government buildings were there, streets they had done a very good like streets, and also drainages were made. Yes, public baths were there. So whatever needed for their living, so they had done all such things. So those cities were those cities were buried under the ground. Okay, so when the archaeological department excavated the city, so they found the public baths they found, and also they found the fossils of the many that is human life, the jewelries what they were using, and the pots what they were using to cook food. Yes, and also the weapons they used. So these many things, and that is how they found that there was a group of people living there. So living near the that is river Indus. That is why it was called as Indus Valley civilization. So apart from those archaeological, there are many evidences like caves, paintings, coins, inscriptions, yes, monuments, and that is those things where they tell us or they narrate the stories of that period. So many cave paintings done by early men have been found in many parts of the world. So for example, Bhimbetka caves in India are famous for the cave painting. So Bhimbetka caves, which is in Madhya Pradesh. Okay. So in the picture, in page number 4, the picture is given. So picture of a man sitting on the animal, so holding the this thing, weapon, right? So they tell the story about how people were living in that period. So some of the paintings and Bhimbetka are approximately 3000 years old. Find how that the pictures will tell us how they hunted animals, with what weapons they use, these many things. So apart from that, so coins are also very important source of history. Coins are also important source of history. So coins were issued by the rulers of a country to enable that the people buy goods and services. So for that purpose. So, and also the coins were engraved with the name of the ruler or their face, or the face of the king or queens, or the events battle, the events year and all they used to engrave on that coins. And even the picture is shown here. On coins, there is the king Samudragupta playing the veena, and here in one more coin, goddesses Lakshmi holding that is diadem. Yes, means what? A small crown with jewels. We can see, like something like this. This shape is there on the coin. So these are the things where we have got, and though these coins prove that there in that era they use these kind of metals as the to buy goods and services. So, and also what these coins give us, the that is the pictures on these coins will give the information about the religion, clothes they were wearing, and even the pastimes of the people. So the above coin shows the Samudragupta was talented and enjoyed music, right? Apart from that, there was other artifacts also. Apart from coins, there are other artifacts. Like what they artifacts means what provide us information of how people lived in the past. For example, cooking vessels, jewelry, toys, clothing, pottery, seals, etc. are also recovered from excavation sites. So they gave us a lot of information about a particular period in history. And again, the inscriptions. Inscriptions means the study. So these are also very valuable and reliable sources of information. So they are carvings on stone or metal, like on pillars, right, on monuments or rocks. They used to carve the info. They used to carve the way they lived the life, or about the emperor lived in that period. So these things tells the history about that period. Like in India, Emperor Ashoka had inscriptions put all over his kingdom. They tell us about his emperor, lifestyle, administration, and Buddhism, which was his religion. Okay. Apart from artifacts, coins, inscriptions, so there is monuments. So the study, the study of coins is called as numismatics. So write down this, the study of coins is known as what? Numismatics. And I explained about the inscriptions, right? The study of inscriptions. So inscriptions are words written or engraved on rocks, pillars, walls of the temple, palaces, forts, etc. Isn't so? Now the study of inscription. So the study of inscription is called as epigraphy. the study of inscription is known as epigraphy, and the study of coins is known as numismatics. So monuments, these are the, we are studying about the archaeological sources. So monuments now. So monuments, the study of monuments is the key to understand a particular culture. So now Taj Mahal is a monument, right? It tells about the Mughal architecture, who built that, so Shah Jahan, about that culture. It tells us about Meenakshi temple. So these, the South Indian, that is the palaces, forts and temples, each and every monument will tell their culture. Isn't so? Like, so like Parthenon and Colosseum. So it is shown in page number 5. So the Parthenon in Athens, that is Greece, and the Colosseum in Rome, Italy. So these two structure, what it tells us about the ancient Egypt. Yes, the tombs of, that is the monuments. So the Parthenon and the Roman Colosseum are the windows of the early civilization. These are the two windows, that is, these arose in the early civilization. The Hava Mahal and the temples of South India, like Meenakshi temple, indicate the magnificence of Indian architecture. So the Meenakshi temple and also the Mysore palace. So these things, they indicate the magnificence of Indian architecture. But the Taj Mahal is the Mughal architecture. It is the finest example of Mughal architecture. So now burial site. So what is this burial site? So it is an area. So it is an area of land where dead bodies are buried. And the tombs of Egyptian pharaohs, yes, tells us about ancient Egypt. So that is the ancient. So Pharaoh means a ruler of ancient Egypt. So they used to live in a great house, the ruler. So they tell about the ancient Egypt, the mummies in the pyramids, the jewelry and the articles of everyday use, which were kept with the mummies, give a wealth of information. So along with the mummies, so the jewelries, whatever we get from them, right? They will tell the information. They give certain type of information regarding the Egypt period, ancient Egypt. Okay. So let us stop here. We will continue with the literary source in the next session. So read the chapter till page number 5. So till wherever I have stopped today, you read the chapter. This is the homework for today. Okay. Thank you.